Hi Libra, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. Your key to the week this week is the Death card. Endings, completions and culminations. Are you ready to wrap up a cycle? More importantly, are you ready to start wrapping up this year? In a lot of ways, the Death card really does represent that fork in the road where something basically doesn't continue. Sometimes this can be a friendship, sometimes it can be a connection, sometimes it's literally just a decision that we make internally to not do something or not to go down a certain path anymore. In a lot of ways, this really does speak to something in your life coming to a hard close. If there is a specific burning question that you have in your mind that you really would like a yes/no answer to, the answer is no. The Death card in tarot, especially out of the major arcana, is one of the few cards that can give you a yes/no answer, and this card is always a hard no, right? And so what a lot of people have asked me previously is like, well, what if it's like to a really good question? Whether it's a good question, whether it's a bad outcome, whatever it might be, the answer is no. All right, so I hope that helps. That being said, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your actions and options this week, you've got the Two of Swords. So the fact that you have this as your actions and options card, especially with the Death card, this suggests to me that this week you're gaining knowledge, wisdom or insight from something that has already been a part of your life but is no longer. So if you find yourself a bit more reflective this week, don't be afraid to go into it, because whatever you're learning it posthumously, I guess is the way that it comes up. So this could literally be maybe you're searching the memory banks, maybe something that comes up as a memory. You kind of think to yourself, hang on a sec, yeah, this feels really familiar. What did I learn at that point? The other thing with the Two of Swords as an actions card, as an options card, should I say, this does suggest that this week, where you had many options for one specific, for one thing that you were trying to do, this week it kind of suggests that the options are off the table. So if you had many things to do or many offers, opportunities, etc., whatever on the table, this week you're going to see them dwindle down and you'll probably only have one. As we come into your communications and conversations, you've got the Seven of Wands, sorry. This is actually a really good thing, right? So the Seven of Wands is an argument, a challenge or a dispute potentially. You've got this here with the Death card, which means it's the end of a problem, the end of an issue, the end of a dispute. Some challenge that you had, that you have maybe been dealing with for some time now, comes to an end this week, which is actually really welcome news for a lot of you, I would say. That being said, if you haven't got your seat for the winter solstice, you can get yours on the link in the description box below. There are going to be myself and my amazing guest, Denise Matthew. You guys remember her. I've done loads of videos with her previously. She's been a part of the winter solstice now for this will be her third year. I'm so chuffed to have her on board, and we're preparing and have prepared, should I say, a whole bunch of amazing information for you to take into and use on a practical level for 2023. On top of that, you're going to get a future life progression meditation with yours truly, so that you can have a look at what your 2023 looks like. Tickets are £33.33. You can get that on the link in the description box below. It's December 21st at 7 p.m. UK time. If you can't make it, don't worry, there will be a replay, and there's also going to be a couple of goodies as well. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, if you've been battling the patriarchy, and maybe that is the message for some of you, but if you've been battling the institution or the hierarchy in some way, this week it kind of looks like you will have an answer. I'm going to be honest, there's nothing here that suggests it's a victory, but there's also nothing here that suggests that it is a loss either. The only thing that I can tell you is with the Seven of Wands, this usually suggests that you at least have the moral high ground. So in a fair world and a fair and just world, you will come out the victor, but we'll have to see. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, similar kind of energy. This could be, though, for some of you, where you have a conversation in the workplace that kind of seals the fate of the job, whether you are or are not staying, and you know whether this really is the place for you. And I kind of get the feeling for a lot of you, you've made significant changes in the workplace, and maybe that's the only reason that you came. Do you know what? And this is something that really occurred to me probably when I was about 25, 26. And it's a pattern that I've noticed a lot over my own sort of life. I don't have Libra placements. In fact, I literally have nothing in Libra. But what really strikes me about this is there are times where you find yourself in a certain place at a certain time, meeting certain people, and it's literally just so that you can change the current thought process or the current, maybe even the status quo of the place that you find yourself in. And I kind of feel like a lot of you might be realizing that now. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this is you moving forward, all right? Like, and in a lot of ways, it's kind of like you're shutting or closing a door behind you, which is great, right? This means that you are freeing up internal space, energy, time, effort for new things that are making themselves known. The Death card really offers you, sometimes it offers you a decision. Let this go now or end up with the Tower. And I'm pretty sure all of us at this point are sick and tired of the Tower. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, it is the end of a dispute and potentially something that's seen you and a family member or potentially even a loved one at opposite ends of opinions with certain things. This does suggest to me that this week you're moving past it, but I gotta be honest, there is a slight bitter taste in the mouth, all right? For those of you, for your love and relations, you've got the Ten of Wands. This, in terms of love and relationships, it can be a little tricky. You know, this can suggest for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, it's like maybe a partner has been talking at you rather than to you. And given the cards that are present, they may have a really good reason. Doesn't excuse bad behavior though. And at some point, you do kind of have to stand up for yourself. And I think now that I see this with the Seven of Wands, I kind of understand it a little bit more. There's only so much grace that even you as a Libra can give, or, you know, dare I say it, I hate this word, but there's only so much grace that you should give before eventually you have to kind of draw a hard line. For those of you that are single, honestly, this is not a week for love, okay? This is a week to wrap up loose ends, to tie up loose ends, to kind of get clear on some of your stuff and to really understand what is coming to an end so that you can take that energy and put it into something else. For your money and materials, you have the Three of Swords. So look, potentially this week, you maybe not losing out on money, but potentially this week you are having to let go of a revenue stream. Maybe you're having to close down, you know, an account of some sort, maybe an investment that you have. You realize it's no longer going to be viable moving forward. And because you've got this here with the Death card, it does suggest that whatever is going away on that financial level this week, it really is, once it's done, it's done. The good thing about this though, is with a week like this, yes, okay, we're going to call a spade a spade. There are challenges here. But the good thing about this is whatever is coming to an end this week, you are creating space. You're just emptying out the cup that is your life so that you can refill it with new things, with better things later down the line. All right. So just consider it that way. The universe is emptying my cup this week because it's going to be refilled next week. All right. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the Three of Swords, especially with the Seven of Wands. For those of, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, I'm not diagnosing anything, but for those of you that have had potentially surgeries that have left, you know, like sometimes after a surgery, some people will get, what do you call it, like a cold or a virus, or, you know, touch wood, I hope I'm wrong on that front, but do you know what I mean? It's like sometimes once you've had a surgery, to have your body opened up that way, it's quite a vulnerable place to put your being, right? And so sometimes on the other end of it, we don't come out of it fully, you know, without some sort of repercussion. If you've had something like that, specifically those of you that have had problems with your immune system, This week does suggest that you're maybe turning a corner, but it's going to come through a healing crisis, okay? For a select few of you, I really hope I'm wrong on this front, but you could be hearing back from a medical professional that says at some point we may need to operate on this. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I don't see it going bad. It's just, you know, nobody wants to hear that they need surgery, right? So it's not ever really the greatest news. When it comes to your home and environment, the Three of Swords, for those of you that are partnered, I wouldn't be surprised if you or your partner are spending time away from home. I also wouldn't be surprised if you find out this week that you're, you know, and maybe that's going to be an extended period. So it's possible. It looks like a bit of a shaky week, guys. I'm really sorry to say that. But let me know how it shapes up for you in the comments. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Make sure you get your winter solstice seat. Take care, and I'll see you soon.